Juno MR-1 prototype 27.5. This one, unlike the Flip Final Chapter, which you have already seen the video on and which I'm going to do a comparison of, is a 12.5-inch barrel, and it has the same handle, the UTH 33 handle. It's still windy, so that sucks, but we're going to give it a whirl. Surely between the two intros we can make something work.
Shout out Derek Skates.
So BP Hero checking back in today, and what we're working with is the 2021 Juno MR-1. This is one of the earlier releases from like the end of February, somewhere around in there. I do know there's been a couple revisions to the MR-1, and I believe this is the second revision. The first ones were really hot out of the wrapper and had a lot of compression issues, and this was the second release of those after that. That's the way I understand how these bats have been released, and this is one of the second revisions of that bat. Big thanks goes out to my guy Derek Skates for picking one of these up and loaning it to us so we could get some swings on it. The field we're hitting on here is basically 290 all the way around, and got a good old cross breeze blowing basically from left field across to right field. And it was a little bit of a cooler day here. It was around 70 degrees, somewhere around in there I believe, if I remember correctly. The balls we're using in the video are a mix of Classic M's and Pro M's, as well as some NSA 4400 icons mixed in there as well. And this particular bat was approved for USSSA only at the time. It has the USSSA 240 stamp, and that's the only certification it has on it. This bat did have about 150 swings on it when we got our round started here today, and it is a 27.5. And this version has a half ounce of end load, but to be honest, it did feel more like a full ounce of end load. We like our end loads, and if you'd have told me this was a half, I wouldn't be believing that. This thing swung pretty heavy for being advertised as a half ounce. The 12.5-inch barrel on this did feel really tight with a very small sweet spot. You could definitely tell when you got the sweet spot, the sound of the performance was night and day better, but as seen by some of the results in some of these swings, it's pretty underwhelming if you don't stay on the sweet spot. So this came with two different handles. It came with a UTH 33 handle and a UTH 43. The 43 is a very stiff and rigid handle, and the 33, which is what this bat features, is kind of the in-between of something that's going to be flexy and that stiff handle. And it did soak up most of the bad feedback if you missed the sweet spot, and was a little more forgiving towards the end, but the closer you got to like the taper connection area, the worse the feedback was, as you see by Brian in the reaction in this video here, where he absolutely burned his hands on the taper one time. Poor guy. Let's head over to the labs and look at a couple of things, and then we'll come back to the field. So this is going to be a quick trip. We're just going to do the scale and compression here. And on the scale, this 27.5 came in at 27.4. And Derek did put like 30 or 40 swings on this before he gave it to us to swing. And even after those, it was coming in at the 311 mark. And we put this thing through its paces before we gave it back to Derek. I would venture to say we put close to 200 swings on this thing, and the compression didn't hardly move at all. There's got to be a fine line of performance and durability, and I feel like we kind of leaned a little bit more towards the durability side of things with this one. Lab stuff out of the way, back to the field. Alright, so I try and do a really good job of being transparent and being a little bit unbiased and honest in some of these reviews. And this is one that I really don't like to do, but sometimes you just got to do. This bat just wasn't it, man. Especially coming from swinging the Final Chapter, which you have seen on the channel a couple months back now. Going from that bat to this bat was disappointing to say the least. I'm not saying that this bat was absolutely terrible, because we both still hit some pretty good balls with it. The biggest complaint between Brian and I and the couple of people that we had trying to get this thing broken in a little bit more, just to see if it would loosen up and get better, was the fact that the sweet spot was super small and it was so stiff. I don't know how the Final Chapter and then transitioning to this can be that much of a difference, but for whatever reason it was. We really liked the Final Chapter. It's flirting with being in the best of 2021 video for me for the 240s. So I don't know what went awry between that and this, but this bat was not it. If anybody had the time to put into one of these to get it broken in, I would venture to say that it's probably going to be decent once it does. But with so many other options out there, even playing on the durability side of things and still getting some performance, in my opinion, this bat just wouldn't really be worth having around. And I hate to be just absolutely pessimistic about it, but sometimes you just got to call them for what they are. Part of a bat being BP Hero approved and being something that we can really enjoy is something that you can just walk up to the fence in a game, pick up, and be successful with it. Kind of what you might call an idiot-proof bat. To me, this is not one of those. This might ruffle some feathers, and if it does, so be it. Sometimes it just bees that way. BP Hero's done with this one. Thanks for stopping in and checking out the video. Thanks to Derek for loaning this to us so we could let you guys get some content on it. Swing hard in case you hit it. BP Hero, catch you next time.